Karrueche Tran was the target of Tracey Edmonds' recent slam, and she didn't hold back. Following weeks of rumors that Karrueche and Deion Sanders were becoming close, Tracey finally spoke up with a fan's claim that the nefarious message was directed specifically at the woman who purportedly took her place. Additionally, her wording was undoubtedly vicious because it was posted right after Karrueche and Deion finally got together, began the relationship, raising suspicions that this overlap wasn't entirely clear-cut. The timetable is currently being examined, and the results are not encouraging. According to sources, Tracey and Deion's Karrueche might have leaped in when the door was still open, and the breakup wasn't as final as it appeared. Tracey's message was succinct, icy, and well thought out, but it said it all. She's finished being polite, and Karrueche would want to reconsider if she believed that this would end amicably. So, was Deion actually stolen by Karrueche? Or is Tracey only informing everyone that she has receipts and is still watching? In any case, this romantic triangle suddenly blew up. Thus, let's get started. Everyone, Karrueche, Tran and Deion Sanders had been rumored to be a little more than pals for some time, but few anticipated that Tracey Edmonds would been questioned about it up to this point because Tracey abruptly revealed that she hasn't moved on, as amicably as everyone had assumed. Furthermore, if Karrueche actually began, not only is it messy, but it's treachery with a twist because Deion was still engaged to Tracey, and they were sneaking around together, because the fact that Tracey and Karrueche weren't together makes it even more bizarre. Strangers. In fact, they're sort of cool. Therefore, this was more than simply a rebound situation if Tracey's shade is what it appears to be. This might have been a complete friendship change. And the first public indication that Tracey is still upset about it was recently provided by her. Now, this is where it becomes a bit more suspicious. While his son Shatter was stealing the show during the NFL draft, a few months ago, Karrueche was in the background, standing quite near to Deion's circle, and because Karrueche was either with the son or the father, that one instant sparked a flurry of conjecture. Furthermore, why had she come to first of all? However, there had already been subliminal whispers that Karrueche and Deion were having an affair before Tracey's shade set everything on fire. There have been enough odd sightings to keep the gossip mill going, but nothing official or verified. However, rumors circulated that they were attempting to hold off on going public until the time seemed appropriate. Fans, however, weren't buying it even then. However, individuals were already giving the entire scenario the side-eye, and with good cause. They are separated by 21 years in age. And it wasn't overlooked. Currently, Karrueche is people everywhere are raising their eyebrows since she is actually closer in age to Deion's children than Deion himself. Therefore, when the reports initially surfaced, the question was not just if they were dating, but also why. Additionally, with fans are questioning if this is a romance that was based on anything shady, and Tracey's shade is only adding another level of complexity to the narrative, much more dubious than anyone anticipated. However, in any case, when the Karrueche video went viral, all the speculation essentially came to an end. Yes, not until they understood it was more than a rumor. She was undoubtedly hooked in with Deion. However, the video was released at a very trying time, as Deion prepared for a major operation after receiving a bladder cancer diagnosis. Surgeons had to remove his bladder and construct a new one from a portion of his tiny gut. It was a serious process, and for someone who isn't committed, there was a lot to process. However, Karrueche was prominently featured in the video. She was sobbing as she discussed all that was going on with the camera, when she talked about how difficult it has been and how frightening the entire situation has seemed. She was obviously emotional. And despite Deion's apparent composure regarding Karrueche continued to mention that they were going to have surgery, not only him. We were given energy.
We are at the hospital because we are dealing with okay. We are dealing with bladder cancer. Um, and he is having his bladder removed, and they will create a new bladder with one of his intestines. And this option was, I guess, the best because it fully removes the cancer to ensure that it doesn't come back, because it was close to his muscle. So yeah, we are here to fully remove the bladder.
Texting the boys. It's their first day of practice today, and I'm excited.
However, she was also attending his doctor's visits, keeping in touch with his trainer, and generally playing the part of a supportive girlfriend. And to be honest, it's kind of crazy to start a relationship with hospital stays and cancer diagnoses. However, that's precisely what took place. No nuanced cues, no gradual launch, just a direct plunge into the realm of life or death. However, I suppose it works for them if that's how your story begins. But fans have different opinions, and the internet has a lot to say about it. Comments like Deion Sanders pulls Karrueche with a toe and some adult diapers are made at this point. He really is prime time. Additionally, seeing Karrueche in the Deion Sanders video was completely coincidental. I'm still weak because of that. Antonio Brown even intervened, stating, "Karrueche, sweetie, this dude doesn't have either the bladder or the toes. What are you doing?" The fact that things aren't exactly going smoothly from here is even more absurd. Deion has apparently been experiencing incontinence since his surgery, which is to be expected given the procedure. He has been using adult diapers, which is a typical recovery stage, but there is still a lot to deal with. This is where things start to get hot. There are rumors that he didn't employ a nurse or any other expert assistance. Why? Due to the fact that Karrueche is in charge of everything, and it is said that she has been there for him through this turmoil day in and day out. Literally, as his life's true love. I hope you're in the will, girl, because what? You don't have to pay for your love. However, in a recent interview, he was questioned directly about his relationship with Karrueche, and he used the oldest ploy in the book rather than respond. He acted as though he was experiencing technological difficulties. People are now inquiring as to whether Karrueche is working behind the scenes for him. Why doesn't he use his chest in public?
Last one, I'm gonna let you go, Coach. Don't kill the messenger. Everyone seen Karrueche by your side during your hospital visit. Everyone wants to know what that friendship is about.
We got a bad connection. I got a bad. I can't.
You gotta go.
I can't back.
Shout out to Coach Prime, man. Coach Prime, man. Clap it up for Coach Prime, man. Coach Prime is wonderful, man. Got a bad connection, baby.
We now believe that this would be the height of the drama, since really, what could be more scandalous than Karrueche's portrayal of a nurse attending doctor's appointments and being by Deion's side during he recovered from cancer, yet he didn't even claim her. Remember how Deion and Karrueche avoided going public and evaded inquiries about their romance for months? It was more than just seclusion. It appears that Tracey is now implying that Karrueche had an affair with Deion while they were still together, and because these hoes aren't loyal, Karrueche didn't want to be referred to as a homewrecker, which is why they were silent for so long. Well, Tracey's closest pal, during an interview, Claudia Jordan ended up spilling even more tea, which just fueled the flames. Claudia claimed that Tracey had long harbored suspicions about Karrueche. According to her, Tracey sensed that something wasn't quite right, as if Karrueche was waiting for her opportunity to strike and lurking just too near to be on. Her intuition was letting her know that something was going on and that she was looking for answers. Tracey made the decision to get right to the point. A small woman was pulled by her woman discussion and questioned Karrueche about the true nature of her relationship with Deion. Here's the worst part, though. Claudia claims that Karrueche denied all of this. She assured Tracey that nothing was going on, that she shouldn't be concerned, and that these worries were all in her head. And now that the truth is actually coming to light, in retrospect, Fans are seeing that Tracey's intuition was likely correct all along. Karrueche allegedly dated a man she knew was already in a relationship, but she also allegedly did so when he was seeing someone who was truly her friend. This is when things become even messier. Because Tracey and Karrueche were romantically involved, they were more than simply business associates. In general, Tracey made an effort to protect Karrueche. She even assisted enhance Karrueche's acting career by making a special effort to secure her a role on the television show Games People Play and working tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that Karrueche was hired as a series regular at the very least. Thus, the fact that, following all of that, Karrueche supposedly turned around and took Tracey's man. These hoes aren't faithful, indeed. That's the part that smells the worst, though, because this was more than simply treachery. It was betrayal encased in career favors, a phony relationship, and outright rudeness. To be fair, though, things weren't always easy in Tracey and Deion's relationship. They possessed many problems, and most of them boiled down to one thing: Deion was having trouble keeping it in his pants. Rumors that he had cheated on her several times with other women were persistent. Kiana Ailes, a fitness teacher who is likewise 27 years younger than him, was one name that kept popping up. Therefore, it appears that Deion has a youthful style and personality. However, Kiana wasn't alone either. Karrueche was also reportedly one of the ladies he was supposedly having an affair with behind Tracey's back. And that's what actually made a big difference. According to the report, the last straw for Tracey was learning that Karrueche was involved in this cheating disaster. This felt like the ultimate betrayal after everything she had already endured. At that point, she made the decision to formally end the engagement and walk away. Tracey didn't hold back when she made the official announcement of the breakup on social media, making sure that everyone knew it was her decision to terminate things. She stated in her statement, "I would like to make it clear that, in spite of any opposing viewpoints, I made the decision to terminate the connection. Going forward, I've made the decision to put my family and myself first in the hopes of being respected, treated honestly, and free to accept the honor and joy I am due." Now, let me say this without being sneaky or placing blame on anyone, but Tracey should have known that she was seeing Deion because of his history. Never been tidy. According to Par Sanders, Deion's second wife, his reputation as a womanizer has been well-earned for a long time. Par didn't mince words when she talked openly about her marriage and kids. She exposed Deion for reportedly having an affair with an 18-year-old while they were still married and labeled him a serial cheater. She disclosed that Deion's illicit messages to the minor were discovered by the media. To divert attention from the controversy, he promptly publicized the information of their divorce. And worst of all, Poehler claimed to be unaware that the divorce was even taking place. She claims that she was unaware that their marriage was in danger and that it was coming to an end. According to her, she was totally taken by surprise and discovered alongside the rest of the world. Taking a closer look at all of that helps you understand who Tracey was actually dealing with. In the Poehler talked candidly in the interview about how tumultuous things became between her and Deion. According to her account, he not only cheated but also orchestrated the whole thing to maintain his dignity. I said, she said, he said, none of this is true, but one of the smaller African American outlets had already gotten to it and proven it. After I learned that one of the major media outlets claimed to be breaking a story about him cheating with this 18-year-old girl. Doesn't matter because our divorce is inevitable. Then it showed up on Facebook. Par continued by saying that until that point, she was unaware that a divorce was taking place. She continued, "I now realize that our divorce was the only story that could trump the story of him cheating with an 18-year-old. That's what he did. Furthermore, that was only the starting." Poehler claims that Deion began attempting to evict her from the house when the news leaked. She claimed that he started acting cruelly and petty, such as relocating her possessions and placing her items in the garage, and even inviting guests including children to assist her in packing up. He did whatever he could think of after. She said it. You know, it wasn't just a messy breakup, was ruthless, calculating, and wholly biased. And it forced Par out of her own house, humiliated her, and caught her off guard. Deion treated Par badly, without a question, and to be honest, it's not surprising that she still seems to harbor a great deal of animosity toward him given everything that happened to her. But the tea comes here. Begins to erupt. Set a timer. Because Tracey Edmonds wasn't just some post-event, future fiancés, in Par's opinion. According to reports, she was one of when Deion was still married to Par. He was having affairs with these ladies. Yes, you heard correctly. Poehler actually called this so it's one of those situations where you lose them how you acquire them. Tracey, in her legal battle with Deion, according to court records, Poehler took legal action to reveal his infidelity rather than only accusing him of it. According to reports, she submitted formal documentation asking for depositions from the rumored mistresses of Deion, and Tracey Edmonds was one of the names on the list. Therefore, if Poehler's allegations are accurate, Karrueche did not simply deceive Tracey years later. She might have been the other woman herself at one point. This is the point at which the entire issue takes a completely unexpected turn, a twist in the plot. Tracey didn't remain silent about the charges though. She made it apparent that she didn't want to be involved in the controversy by publicly refuting Poehler's allegations. Tracey stated in her statement, "I am surprised too. Hear that Poehler Sanders is attempting to drag my staff and me through her prenuptial conflict. I don't understand why she keeps making public problems out of her personal problems and feeling terrible for their kids." Nevertheless, years later, admirers made the connection after seeing her name in the court filings. The rumors have continued despite the denial, particularly now that Karrueche, a small karma figure, is being charged with Tracey, the thing Tracey was alleged to have done to Poehler. Poehler, however, has never recanted her assertions. She still maintains that Tracey was used as a prop by Deion during their union. Because, as they say, what goes around comes back around. Many people are finding it difficult to feel sorry for Tracey now that she is accusing Karrueche of stealing Deion from her. Hello, sweetheart. Additionally, insiders claim that Tracey may not be as detached from this drama as she would like people to believe. Rumor has it that she is the one who inspired her. Karrueche's dearest friend Claudia Jordan will publicly criticize her. According to insiders, Tracey has been employing Claudia to carry out her nefarious activities so she may avoid being exposed for her hypocrisy. Since people still think that Karma Karrueche played a similar role in Poehler's marriage, it wouldn't seem good for her to name her a homewrecker. However, it doesn't stop there since Tracey is also making accusations Karrueche of only having financial gain in mind. Tracey doesn't think Karrueche has any genuine feelings for Deion, according to people close to her. Karrueche's comments are devoid of love. Eyes only $signs. Tracey reportedly believes that Karrueche is simply remaining and pretending to be a nurse in order to gain Deion's trust and become close enough to cheat on her without a prenuptial agreement. And she leaves with large sums of his money if it occurs. Tracey thinks Karrueche is playing the long game, even if there is a prenuptial agreement. For a moment, let's be honest. Milliseconds. There are ways to challenge a prenuptial agreement, particularly if emotional manipulation and a health issue are involved. Therefore, in Tracey's opinion, this isn't love. Narrative, it's a prelude, and when you actually think about it, it's not that difficult to accept. Particularly when you consider Karrueche's past relationships. She has been connected to numerous affluent men in the field. She was even allegedly out here doing stunts with high rollers behind the scenes, according to several folks. If you understand, all purportedly, she has, however, been linked to Quo, Ray J, Victor Cruz, Memphis Depay, John Wall, and Chris Brown over the years, and what do they all do? Possess in common? Cash. Her predicament with Quo, however, has fans really taking notice because it somewhat reflects the current Deion turmoil. According to reports, Karrueche allegedly began an affair with Quavo's ex-girlfriend Cidi while he was still dating Cidi. Despite the fact that they were friends, the habit of approaching the woman first, then slipping into the mail, that's exactly what Tracey says occurred to her with Deion behind her back. Fans are now connecting the dots and pointing out that Karrueche only appears to date extremely expensive men, and that she keeps getting caught up in these complicated situations with guys who are already involved. And this isn't a coincidence, Tracey says. According to her, Karrueche is using the same strategy as Deion, shutting him down, earning his trust, and cashing out. Everyone is now observing to see if Karrueche responds to Tracey's shot or if Deion is too preoccupied with playing house for her to give a damn. Let's face it though, Tracey rarely speaks. It appears that she wants to shake the room if she is speaking. And it says a lot that she's deciding to let it go at this point. Furthermore, this is more than just drama if Karrueche actually dated Deion prior to his breakup with Tracey. With receipts awaiting discovery, it's a betrayal. Two things are certain. Certainties, these hoes are not faithful. Tracey hasn't finished yet. Additionally, if this was a gentle warning about what would happen next, might completely blow the lid off.